Hi, I'm Hannah from Enemy. I'm backstage at Reading with Rav and Shikari. Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hi. We're back at Reading.
We are.
Obviously, you've got quite a history with Reading.
Yeah.
What does this festival mean to you? You've played it so many times before.
I mean, this is the festival, this is the one we all went to as kids. I think I first came here when I was like 14 or 15, and year in, year out, really. Like when we played it for the first time in 2007. Someone said earlier that they think this is our 9th year playing it. So it's just, we have, a real deep emotional tie to this festival. So it's always so good to be back.
Do you have any particular highlights from this? Because obviously it's not as well. It's not 9 performances. It's more than that. There's been acoustic sets, secret mixes, things like that.
Yeah, well, we hold a few records. So that year where we did it was 3 shows at Reading and 2 in Leeds. So that's 5 over the weekend, which is the most that's ever been done. But Christ, we will not do that again. Oh my God, that was 2019. So it was the proper heat wave. I mean, it's hot today, but that day was horrific. And stupidly, for our main stage set, we were all in suits. We had pyro, and it was 35 degrees. It was horrible. But I think my other biggest memory, and this, I'm often not very good at remembering sets. Maybe I'm just just in the moment, and that part of my brain just isn't gathering memories very well. But forever etched into my memory will be the Vista in 2009 or 10 when we broke the record for crowd surfers over the barrier. And that was just insane. I've never seen anything like that. You're used to looking out and seeing a sea of heads, but it was a sea of bodies. It was just such a peculiar sight. But yeah, so lots of memories. I could go on.
Amazing. And by the time this runs, there'll be another secret appearance that will have happened.
Yeah.
So today you are joining Pendulum on stage for their secret set, which is very exciting.
Hell yeah.
How's this all come about?
Well, Gareth and Rob just got in touch and basically said that they're thinking about doing a remix of Sorry Not a Winner. And I was like, oh, okay, sick. What a surreal message to get. And they sent it over because there's a lot of different tempo changes in that track. And I was like, oh, this is so interesting. What are they going to do with it? And it's so good. It is killer. So we're going to do it live in their headlining the dance tent. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Practiced it at all? Have you kind of been doing that?
Yeah, we did some rehearsals in London a few weeks back, and because of the for sub bass works better at certain frequencies, so they've had to raise the key of the track. And this track came out in 2007. I wrote it in 2003, so I could perhaps reach those high notes a little better. And they've raised it another tone and a half, 3 semitones, I think. So it's up there. It's right up there. So I'm hoping I have some vocal cords left after our own set to destroy with Pendulum.
Amazing. And kind of speaking of your own set, you've got a new track with Wargasm, which has come out. Are they going to be joining you on stage?
They are, certainly.
Amazing.
Yeah, can't wait for that. I just caught their set earlier, which was, another sort of secret set, really, or, a last minute thing. And they had a great crowd, especially for that time of day. Really sick. And that track, we rehearsed with them Thursday, and it sounded great. They're awesome live. Yeah, can't wait.
Tell me about working with them on that. How did it kind of happen? Is it that you were kind of fans of them as an amazing coming through band?
Yeah, I mean, I think actually the first time I saw them was at the Download Pilot Festival last year. But obviously they've been around, is it 2 years now? So they were on our radar, and then we met them and they seemed awesome. And the music's sick. And I was writing this track, and I just could already hear them on it, and I was like, yes, okay. So I sent them the demo of it, and they just got back, and what they did to it was great. And it just all came together pretty quickly after that point. And it's a weird one because it's a track that we hadn't. By the time it was being mixed and mastered, as a band, we'd never played it together in a room. So it was very I wanted to really push myself as a producer. So it's it's heavy, but it's there's so many different textures and instrumentation and things going on. So it was a really fun track to make.
Amazing. And it's been a couple of years since the last album. Is this part of the new era? What is happening with new music?
Yeah, I mean, we've been writing all summer, just trying to get things done and sort out a sort of, I don't know, like a schedule on how we're going to move forward. But yeah, this is like the first new track for a good few years. Like I couldn't write over lockdown at all. Yeah. So yeah, this is like the first offering since that whole period. Yeah.
What made you kind of feel like you could get back into the studio and writing? Was a moment?
Probably Download Pilot, I think. Like we speak a lot about the importance of human connection and how live music festivals especially are one of the only places in life really we can all come together indiscriminately and share these moments with each other, and that became, like throughout the pandemic, it became so visceral for me that I didn't have that. Like it was a real, it was like I'd lost a limb or something. It was just like really difficult to deal with. And so it sort of really taught me that it's not just something we talk about. Like human connection, I actually need it. That's the fuel in order to create, really. It gives me like a sense of purpose, I suppose, like at the end of the day. So so it wasn't until we started playing like shows again that I was like, okay, this is what I do. And then ideas started coming again. So yeah.
And what can you tell us about those ideas? New sounds being explored. What are you exploring lyrically, I guess, as well?
I mean, there's always new sounds. Lyrics I'm just finding more difficult these days because there's so much to write about. Like you just feel like if you're trying to craft an album, like, we need to talk about this. But I need to address this, and like, but I've been experiencing this, so I also want to talk about that. And so it's like fitting the personal and the political in, and like trying to do it in a way that that actually flows, that feels like that is natural. So that's been difficult. But like musically, we're a band that like prides ourselves on like musical agility, I guess, essentially. So like that's something that will always be with us. But I think the tracks we're writing at the moment are all quite high energy. There's a lot of like bangers, just like straight up bangers. Like I'm trying to like, on every album there's usually like quite a few tracks where we go like, not really prog, but like certainly like quite experimental, and like, whereas this album seems to be like coming together as just like wall-to-wall bangers. So it is going to be an album as opposed to, I keep saying out. I'd like to make an album. Yeah. Like I still think it's almost like a tired conversation talking about this, but like I still think a musical journey over a certain amount of time is a good thing to do. And it's easier for us because we've got so many, there's such breadth to our sound that it's quite hard to like deliver just singles or just an EP. Like I want people to go on that journey with us, and experience those textures and emotions. So hopefully it'll be an album.
Amazing. And something else I wanted to ask you about is music declares emergency, which is something you've been spoken about before. Obviously it's a big part of Reading this year, which I think is brilliant. Why for you is it so important to kind of get involved in that campaign? I think we need more mainstream anger, and I use mainstream in a broad sense, not in like a negative way. Like I think the more that this conversation just pops up everywhere, it's not just something on the news or just something that's only spoke about within activist circles. It's something that like everyone is affected by and everyone needs to be involved with. So I think it's great that like they have such a big presence here at Reading and Leeds, and it's growing. And I think there is a movement, especially like within the sort of the youthful generations coming through now. There's such a sense of enthusiasm and positivity and urgency and ideas as well, and passion and knowledge. Like I feed off it. I feel like I'm like, because we've been talking about these things for years, and I'm getting like a real just like push, I think, and sense of like finally there's a real movement building, and there's an energy, and it feels like the next few years are going to be really interesting. There's going to be big steps forward made, I think. Yeah. So I was going to say, it's obviously it is quite a scary time at the moment, cost of living crisis, climate change, stuff like that. But
Does it make you like hopeful for the future, being places like this, which particularly Reading are so filled with young people who really care?
Yeah, I think like experiences like these are like pivotal to like shaping your worldview or reshaping your worldview. Like, you know, like I was saying earlier, just like a place that we can all come together and escape like all of that, but also have those conversations at the same time, but in a way that like feels constructive, that feels like we're sharing conversations with people who are just as passionate, making these connections. Like, that's so important. That's what fuels like real interesting, worthwhile activism, I think.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to multiple appearances this evening.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much.